Welcome back everybody. Now today I'm comparing 4 toasters. Now originally I was thinking about doing cheap versus expensive, but there are 2 problems with that. First of all, it's been kind of done and it's a bit cliche at this point. The other problem is that when you watch a cheap versus expensive toaster, a lot of people aren't going to pay for a lot of money for a toaster no matter how good it is. So you're only getting one toaster you might use versus one you won't. So today I'm doing cheap toasters. That's right, I'm doing 4 cheap toasters. Not only that, 3 of them are name brand and 3 of them I got right from Walmart, so they're readily accessible. So let's take a look at the 4 cheap toasters and see which one is the best. We've got 10 to 30 bucks. Right here is the Mainstays. This is a Walmart brand. I paid $9.88 for this one. In the $15 range, I got Hamilton Beach. This was $14.96, purchased at a Walmart store. Over here is a Black & Decker in the $20 range. This is actually $18.96 I paid for it at a Walmart store. The Cuisinart over here was 30 bucks off Amazon, actually $29.95, so just under 30 bucks. So let's take a look at the features of each one very quickly and then start off with round 1. Let's get a quick look at the Mainstays toaster here. Not much to it. There's just the lift lever. You have the dial that goes up to 6. Then to cancel, you just push it all the way to the edge. There's a kind of a click. The opening is about 5 inches. And these all have crumb trays, and the crumb tray for this one is back here. Hamilton Beach. Nice looking toaster, but I'm not fond of the stainless steel. You're gonna get fingerprints. I just don't like that so much. The same as the Mainstays, it just has a lever and a dial, but the only difference is this one goes to 7, not 6, and there's a cancel button. This one's closer to 5.5 inches. Black & Decker, we're moving up now. We've got a lever, the dial, the cancel button, and we've got bagel and frozen buttons as well. Now the Black & Decker instructions barely mention the bagel and they don't really mention the frozen at all. So we'll see how these actually work. This one is also roughly 5.5 inches. Cuisinart now, we've got much more buttons. Look at this, we have the lever, we have the dial that goes to 7, bagel, defrost, reheat, and cancel. Once again, 5.5 inches. So the only one that was not 5.5 inches was the Mainstays. So I've watched a bunch of toaster reviews and comparisons to kind of prepare for this one, more than I should have. But what I think I'm gonna do for this first round is do white bread, because white bread does show the toastiness. And I'm also going to do the lightest setting, the darkest setting, and right down the center. So first up we have the very cheap Mainstays brand from Walmart, just under 10 bucks. Very minimal. It's not a lot to it, but let's see how it works. I am going to do 2 slices per round because the toasters are kind of more calibrated for having 2 slices in there as far as the heat chamber goes. Also, I want to see how the inside versus the outside toast, so let's get started with, we're going to go with the classic, and that's Wonder Bread. All the way over to number 1 for round 1. I'm kind of excited about this. Now, I did put all the toasters through a couple cycles without any bread in there last night just to burn off any factory dust or any other nastiness that might be in there. Aha, we have popped up. This face to the inside and this face to the outside, and there's really not much difference. It feels barely toasted. Here we go, we got Hamilton Beach. Smells like toast. There we go. Very light. Very light. So far, round 1 is a little bit underwhelming, but we need a baseline. We need a baseline for the better rounds, and so let's keep moving on. Black & Decker, round 1. By the way, if anybody's wondering what I'm gonna do all this bread, I'm gonna try to make it into croutons. I'm gonna try to find some use for it. I'm not wasting all this bread. I'll do my best. All right, nice aggressive pop up here. And this doesn't feel quite as toasted on the underside. And finally for the so-called most expensive model, which still is pretty cheap, $3 Cuisinart. I will say the Cuisinart lever seemed the most solid, if that's really the term to use for it. Some of the others are kind of flimsy. This one felt very solid. So just in construction, it feels like it's a little bit better, but we'll see how it toasts. All right, here we go. Let me take a look at one of these. This is the only one I've seen that has any brown at all. If you can see just a little bit of brown right there, and that's on the inside. Round 1 was a little bit underwhelming, I have to admit, but that's just, you know, you don't expect much from light toast. So let me bump it up to medium and see what happens there. All right, it's time to get real with round number 2. This is where the browning's gonna start happening. This is where we're gonna separate the men from the boys as far as the toasters go. 3 of these have a dial that goes to 7, 1 goes to 6. So I'm just putting in the center. I don't really care what the number even says. We're going right in the center. I will say the Mainstay is very cheap. That is so cheap. It did light, but let's see what it does on medium. Definitely taking much longer on medium than it did on low, which I would hope it would. Starting to smell like toast. Not burning, that's good. Oh, the bread didn't come off all the way, and there's smoke coming out. Okay, oh, that's kind of dark for medium. Outside, inside, ouch. Whew, that's gonna be interesting on dark. No reason to wait, let's go right with Hamilton Beach. Going right in the center, number 4, and let's do it. See what happens. Nice and warm. Well, here we go, here we go. That looks more like what I think medium should be. I'm a little bit impressed by the evenness. The $15 Hamilton Beach coming through in the clutch here. Here we go, Black & Decker. Let's do it. Here we go. Outside, inside, This is gonna be close to Hamilton Beach, I think. I'm not sure if it's as even. All right, here we go. The last one of round 2, the expensive $30 Cuisinart. A little bit of smoke came out. Let's take a look. That looks pretty nice, actually. Not quite as nice. Nice, not quite as nice. Interesting. I'm a little worried about this last round because I don't know how that Mainstays is gonna do if it was that dark on the medium, but let's try it out. So round 3, we're maxing it out on all 4 of them and see how they do. All right, here we go. Mainstays. This is the nuke option. We're all the way up. Maybe I should get a fire extinguisher nearby because I'm worried about this one. The anticipation is actually overwhelming at the moment. I'm starting to smell kind of a burnt smell. Some people like burnt bread. I never really used the max function on toasters, so I don't know what the desirable max toaster setting is, but we'll see how these all look and maybe I'll have a better idea. I'm starting to see a little bit of smoke coming out of there now. I have a bad feeling about this. I can see in there and it looks black. This is gonna be bad. I'm letting it go. I'm not gonna stop it. Can you see the smoke? It's starting, it's smoking. Whoa, whoa, burnt. Ouch, 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 ouch. Wow. I'm gonna show you all the toast in one shot when I'm done with these, but I don't think that's desirable to most people. Maybe it is, I don't know. I'm gonna let this stop smoking and then go to the next one. All right, Hamilton Beach, round 3, let's try it out. We are all the way maxed up to number 7. Here we go. Okay, okay. So to me, that seems a little bit more acceptable than the first one, but we got 2 more to go, so let's see how they compare. Black & Decker round 3, cranked up to number 7. Just a tiny bit of smoke coming out of this one right now. Kind of the same amount as the Hamilton Beach, but not as much as the Walmart Mainstays, which was smoking like a chimney at the end. Oh, come on now, it's smoking a lot. This is smoking more than the Walmart now. This is bad, come on. All right, here we go. Ouch, 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 ouch. Oh, these are burnt. I had to put them on a plate. This is an outside facing slice and an inside facing slice, so it seems burnt to me. I don't think that's the desired result on number 7. I really don't. Maybe it is. It is not to me. All right, here we go. Cuisinart to the max, number 7. I'm not necessarily saying that smoke's a bad thing. When you're toasting bread to the maximum setting, you're probably gonna expect a little bit of smoke. It's just, I guess, how burnt does it make it and how much smoke do you get? Here we go. Outside. Inside, slice number 2, outside, inside. So let's take a look at how all these compared side by side before I get to my final tests. Another way to look at this is these are all the slices that were faced to the outside of the toaster. So see how consistent those are, or inconsistent. This isn't real consistent. This one has lines when this one doesn't. But let me flip these all over and you can see how the inside slices all look. The Mainstays I'm not too impressed with on either one of these 2 rounds. The Hamilton Beach I'm quite happy with. It seems like for 15 bucks it's actually quite consistent. The Black & Decker, it's not bad, but there's a difference that the outsides toasted more than the insides did. It was also a little bit burnt for my taste on the higher setting. Cuisinart I thought did quite well. It seems also one of the more consistent ones. Right now I'm leaning towards the Cuisinart and the Hamilton Beach. We got 2 more quick tests to do before we wrap this thing up. Now 2 of these have bagel functions and 2 don't, so we'll have to just kind of see how that goes. I'm gonna start off with the Mainstays. Once again, there's no bagel function. There's pretty much no function. We have our Thomas bagels. First I wanna see if a bagel even fits in here. It seems to fit. I've got the cut side facing the interior of the toaster. I'm gonna put this at about the 9 o'clock position, which is just the number 2 setting, and see how it goes. So I've already kind of tested these for brownness. Early for the bagel test, I just want to see if it can actually do it. I'm especially interested on how this one's gonna pop up, if it even clears the top of the toaster or not. It didn't, stuck in there. All right, but that's minor issue, minor issue. All right, well, it looks decent. Ouch. Why do I keep doing that? Not quite consistent, but that's okay. Outside lightly toasted, actually not bad at all, really. This one has a bigger opening, so I don't think it'll get stuck. All right, Hamilton Beach. I'm putting this one also at the 9 o'clock position, which is number 2. And we're off. It did not brown as much as the Mainstays. It is toasted though. I think the Mainstays may have been too brown for just the number 2 setting. What I was mainly concerned about is if it was gonna come out of there easily, which it did. So it did seem to work. All right, next up we got the Black & Decker. Now this is the first of 2 that actually have the bagel function. So what you're supposed to do is put the bagel in there, push the lever down, and then hit the bagel button. And I've got this one also at the same position as the others, approximately at the 2 setting. Inserting a bagel, pressing down, hitting the bagel button. I hit the bagel button and there's no indication that the bagel button's doing anything. Look, it's on right now. Nothing. The instructions do state on the bagels that it warms the outside of the bagel while toasting the cut side. We shall see. It's lightly toasted on the inside. I don't really see much difference between this and the others. They both feel kind of lightly toasted. I'm not sure that bagel function really added much. I also don't even know if it worked properly because there's no indication. All right, and finally the Cuisinart. This one also has a bagel function and lights, so we should be able to tell when it's actually working or not. Once again, I've got this in the kind of the 9 o'clock position at number 2. I push it down and hit the bagel function, and yes, I have an indicator. So the bagel function is definitely working. It says it's a longer toasting cycle, but we shall see. And here we go. Take a look on the inside. It looks like the bottom actually toasted more than the top did. The other side's nicely, it's a nice texture to it. It's nicely toasted. So before I show you all the final results of the bagels, let's do round 3 and we'll look at the final results of round 2 and 3 together. So round 3 are frozen waffles. Here I've got some Eggos. Now, the instructions for the Eggos say to use the lightest setting and possibly do it twice if it's not done. The first round was about the brownness. The second one was if it was going to be able to handle something as wide as a bagel. For the third round, I just want to see how well it does waffles in general. So let's get started with the Mainstays. And here we go. Am I the only one that can't say Eggo without thinking of Dr. Evil? Maybe it's just me. One setting doesn't seem like quite enough. It's slightly cool in the center. I think it needs to go one more round. Through the second cycle, it still doesn't look really that brown. I guess it's not really supposed to, but it feels cooked-ish, so we'll move on to the next one. All right, Hamilton Beach. Once again, this one does not have a toaster function. As per the instructions of the Eggos, I'm putting it on the lightest setting. All right, let's see. It still feels a little bit flimsy. This is even cold on the outside, so that's definitely not done. That's cold right there. Yeah, not done. Round 2. I guess it's pretty good. Yeah, I guess it's acceptable. By the way, I don't like wasting food. I'm gonna put these Eggos back in the freezer and re-toast them when I wanna eat them. But let's now move on to the toasters that have a frozen function and see if that actually works better than the 2 toasters that didn't. First up, Black & Decker. We push it down and hit the frozen button, even though it doesn't give me any indication that it's doing anything. All right, let's see. I would say it feels more done than the first 2. I'm really feeling around the edges to see if there's any cold spots. No, I guess not, but I feel like it needs another cycle. So if it needs another cycle, is a toasting function even really useful? I don't know. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but it would be funny if the button was just for show and it didn't do anything. All right, here we go. This was 2 cycles. Oh, it's browner than the others. The frozen option definitely seemed to brown them more. So, you know, maybe there is a difference. Maybe the frozen function wasn't just a conspiracy theory after all. And finally, the Cuisinart. Here we go. Push it down, hit the defrost button. Round 1 is done here. Let me see. The edges feel pretty cooked. Kind of like the Black & Decker. It's very lightly toasted. It definitely doesn't seem like it's ready to be eaten though. I gotta go another round. Very similar to the Black & Decker as it's lightly browned. The sides facing the outside seem like they're a little bit more brown than the inside facing ones, but that's not a big deal. All right, let's go over the table and take a look at rounds 2 and 3 and see how they compared. So let's take a look at the final results of round 2 and 3. We've got the bagels, we got the waffles, all 4 toasters. Clearly the 2 with the frozen setting browned the waffles a little better than those that didn't. But overall, the bagels fit in all the toasters, the waffles are all cooked. So I think that really the results are not too bad. It seemed like there's a little bit of unevenness in some places, like the Black & Decker here, the Cuisinart there. So, you know, none of them are perfect, although I'm happy that they all fit the bagels in there without getting stuck. All right, well, that was kind of a fun test. I think in the end, if I had to choose, I would personally go with the Hamilton Beach because I don't make a lot of bagels, I don't make a lot of waffles. I think if I was gonna make a lot of bagels and waffles, I'd probably go with the Cuisinart, but I really think for 15 bucks, the Hamilton Beach is actually a pretty good deal. I don't think the Mainstays is really a great toaster. $5 more, you get the Hamilton Beach, which performed quite well. I'm not sure the frozen and the bagel options on the Black & Decker really add much to that one, so to me, the Hamilton Beach is my pick. The Cuisinart, if you make a lot of bagels and waffles, would also be a great choice. The other 2, I don't think they're quite as good. But if you've used any of these toasters, tell me what you think in the comments below. I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you next time.